What Descartes did was a good step. You have added much several ways, and especially in taking the colors of thin plates into philosophical consideration. If I have seen a little further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Truth is ever to be found in the simplicity, and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. Against filling the heavens with fluid mediums, unless they be exceeding rare, a great objection arises from the regular and very lasting motions of the planets and comets in all manner of courses through the heavens. Atheism is so senseless. When I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the Sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. In the absence of any other proof, the thumb alone would convince me of God's existence. The instinct of brutes and insects can be the effect of nothing else than the wisdom and skill of a powerful ever-living agent. By such deductions, the law of gravitation is rendered probable, that every particle attracts every other particle with a force which varies inversely as the square of the distance. The law thus suggested is assumed to be universally true. The way to chastity is not to struggle directly with incontinent thoughts, but to avert the thoughts by some employment, or by reading, or meditating on other things. I consider my greatest accomplishment to be lifelong celibacy. God in the beginning formed matter in solid, massy, hard, impenetrable, movable particles, of such sizes and figures, and with such other properties, and in such proportion to space, as most conduced to the end for which he formed them. As a blind man has no idea of colors, so we have no idea of the manner by which the all-wise God perceives and understands all things. The ignis fatuus is a vapor shining without heat. I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only a boy playing on the seashore. Our ordination, Sir Isaac Newton, 1642-1747. About the times of the end, a body of men will be raised up who will turn their attention to the prophecies and insist upon their literal interpretation, in the midst of much clamor and opposition. Pictures, propagated by motion along the fibers of the optic nerves in the brain, are the cause of vision. My principal method for defeating error and heresy is by establishing the truth. One purpose is to fill a bushel with tares, but if I can fill it first with wheat, I may defy his attempts. Is not fire a body heated so hot as to emit light copiously? For what else is a red-hot iron than fire? And what else is a burning coal than red-hot wood? If I am anything, which I highly doubt, I have made myself so by hard work. Therefore, to the same natural effects we must, as far as possible, assign the same causes. My design in this book is not to explain the properties of light by hypotheses, but to propose and prove them by reason and experiments, in order to which I shall premise the following definitions and axioms. I keep the subject of my inquiry constantly before me, and wait till the first dawning opens gradually, by little and little, into a full and clear light. God is able to create particles of matter of several sizes and figures, and perhaps of different densities and forces, and thereby to vary the laws of nature, and make worlds of several sorts in several parts of the universe. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. If I have seen a little further, it is because of the height limit and absence of overhead wires. Every particle of matter is attracted by or gravitates to every other particle of matter with a force inversely proportional to the squares of their distances. His epitaph, who, by vigor of mind almost divine, the motions and figures of the planets, the paths of comets, and the tides of the seas first demonstrated. All the characters of the Passion agree to the year 34, and that is the only year to which they all agree. The best way to understanding is through a few good examples. You sometimes speak of gravity as essential and inherent to matter. Pray do not ascribe that notion to me, for the cause of gravity is what I do not pretend to know, and therefore would take more time to consider of it. This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. All knowledge and understanding of the universe was no more than playing with stones and shells on the seashore of the vast, imponderable ocean of truth. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I shall not mingle conjectures with certainties. Hypotheses non fingo. I frame no hypotheses. I see I have made myself a slave to philosophy. Truth is the offspring of silence and meditation. Impressed force is the action exerted on a body to change its state either of resting or of moving uniformly straight forward. A cylinder of air reaching to the top of the atmosphere is of equal weight with a cylinder of water about 33 feet high. No great discovery was ever made without a bold guess. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. You have to make the rules, not follow them. If I had waited for other people to make my tools and things for me, I would never have made anything. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true, for if the things be false, the apprehension of them is not understanding. Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who sets the planets in motion. What goes up must come down. The qualities of bodies, which admit neither intention nor remission of degrees, and which are found to belong to fill bodies within the reach of our experiments, are to be esteemed the universal qualities of all bodies whatsoever. He that in ye mine of knowledge deepest diggeth, hath, like every other miner, ye least breathing time, and must sometimes at least come to tear alt for air. When the adversaries of Erasmus had got the Trinity into his edition, they threw by their manuscript as an old almanac out of date. My powers are ordinary, only my application brings me success. The changing of bodies into light, and light into bodies, is very conformable to the course of nature, which seems delighted with transmutations. Men build too many walls and not enough bridges. Poetry is a kind of ingenious nonsense.